Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Gene, what is all this? Lou Ziffin asked, unable to keep his cool. Why was he being ridiculed by these people? He stood up and looked coldly at Ilan Jean and Xiao Hanya. There was something about the way they sat together that made Lou Ziffin feel like an interloper point too. Ilan Jean noted how agitated Lou Ziffin was and proceeded to give him another critical hit. I think they're right, she said innocently as she blinked her eyes in feigned puzzlement. There's no guarantee of a woman's life after marriage. What if one day you cheat on me or realize that you are gay? What would I do, too? Lou Ziffin's frown had turned into a full-on scowl. His nostrils flared as he clenched his fists point two. Still, Lou Ziffin knew that he could not lose his temper in front of this many people. He was from the famous Liu family of Jiang City. He should handle this with grace point two. Jean, don't make a scene, Lou Ziffin said in a low voice. Ilan Jean hardly had any chance to react because the waiter came, bringing the dishes over. Xiao Hanya put a small portion of every dish on Ilan Jean's plate and said, "Eat just a little of everything. I'll make some more for you when I get home later, too." "Okay," Ilan Jean replied, forgetting that she and Xiao Hanya had company. She started eating with her chopsticks in an unaffected manner. And why not? She was so used to Xiao Hanya's presence that doing things with him felt completely natural point two. Feeling two pairs of eyes on her, Ilan Jean looked up from her food to see Lou Ziffin and Qin Nin looking at her, then at Xiao Hanya. In disbelief point two. "Are you two dating?" Qin Nin just had to ask, seeing how the two acted around each other point two. Qin Nin had known Ilan Jean for many years now, but he had never seen her like this with anyone else. He could tell that there was something going on between her and Xiao Hanya point two. Lou Ziffin felt cheated. He opened his mouth to speak, but as if on cue, the director of the Land Bureau walked in and addressed him. "Young Master Lou, the deal on the piece of land that you wanted has finally been approved. 2. Coincidentally, we're doing a green publicity stint. We hope that young Master Lou would be our spokesperson." The director added point two. Hearing that the land deal had been approved, Lou Ziffin naturally had to seize the opportunity. He had thought the deal would not go through because the bureau chief had been avoiding him since the incident with the beggar. But today, the chief himself sought Lou Ziffin to deliver the good news. Lou Ziffin was surprised, but it was a good kind of surprise point too. "Come, let's take a few photos," the bureau chief warmly told Lou Ziffin. "I will send the information over later, too." Secretary Yang came in, bringing a set of eco-friendly clothes and a hat. He handed them over to Lou Ziffin, saying, "Young Master Lou, these arrived for you, too." Lou Ziffin stared at the set of clothes, which included a green bodysuit with a green hat and a green mask. His face turned ashen. He pursed his lips and stared at the bureau chief. "Bureau chief," Lou Ziffin said. "What do you mean by this, too?" "Why, it's environmental endorsement, young Master Lou," the director said with a smile. "The whole world has started working towards environmental protection. Naturally, our beloved city cannot fall behind. The Liu family is the most famous in Jiang City. It would be perfect to have young Master Lou as the face of our campaign, too." Lou Ziffin looked at the set of clothes, trying to process what was happening. He needed the deal on the land. But if he puts on this costume, which did not even include trousers to go with the spandex bodysuit, he would be a laughingstock for the rest of his life. It would cause the Liu family a great deal of ridicule, something Lou Ziffin would never be able to live down point two. "Director, for the campaign to be successful, we have to get someone with charisma to be the endorser. I'm willing to pay for a good model." But before Lou Ziffin could finish, he saw Hiroashua arrive. She walked toward him excitedly and called out, "Brother Ziffin, too." Hiroashua looked very delicate as she stood in front of Lou Ziffin point two. "She's not so bad," Lou Ziffin said, gesturing to Hiroashua. He turned to her and handed her the set of clothes. "Xiaoxua, you're just in time. Weren't you a model before? Why don't you try being an endorser for the director's ecological campaign, too?" Ilan Jean watched the scene unfold as she sipped her tea. She planned to embarrass Lou Ziffin and Hiroashua, but what was happening right now was way beyond her imagination. Point 2. Helan Jin's thoughts were disturbed by a faint tapping noise. Xiao Hanya was drumming his fingers on the table. His eyes swept past Helan Jin, and then he went back to watching Lu Zifan. Helan Jin stretched her arms sideways and pinched Xiao Hanya on the waist. What exactly do you want to do? 2. Wearing a green hat is a Chinese expression that refers to a man being cheated on by his wife or his girlfriend. The Chinese phrase for green hat sounds very similar to the Chinese word for cuckold. 2. Helan Jin leaned against the wall lazily, playing with her fingers as she watched the commotion. She was also secretly watching Xiao Hanya's actions. Today, he appeared out of nowhere. It did not seem like he was here to freeload. It looked like he was here to cause trouble. Point 2. Suddenly, Xiao Hanya's spoon fell to the floor. The bureau chief turned to look at the source of the noise, accidentally bumping into Hiroashiwa's bag. Point 2. My bag, Hiroashiwa said as the bag fell out of her hand. A file folder slipped out of the bag, causing Lu Zifan extreme shock. He strode forward to snatch it, but the bureau chief was one step ahead of him. The director picked the folder up and handed it to Hiroashiwa. Point 2. Thank you, Director Chun, Hiroashiwa said with a bow. She did not realize that Helan Jin was here sharing a table with Lu Zifan because Helan Jin was sitting beside Xiao Hanya, whose tall figure obscured Helan Jin. Point 2. Hiroashiwa reached out to get the folder from the director, but he suddenly withdrew his hand and opened the folder. Point 2. No, Hiroashiwa cried, completely stunned. Lu Zifan felt like his heart was going to explode with the desire to snatch the folder from the bureau chief. This was not how he envisioned this meeting to be. He had worked so hard to gain access to the secret of the He family. Point 2. Lu Zifan's only reason for being here was to meet Hiroashiwa, who was bringing the information that he wanted. Now everything was ruined. Point 2. Director Chun, this is mine. Hiroashiwa stepped forward and snatched the folder away, not the least bit afraid of offending the director. Point 2. Director Chun saw how anxious Hiroashiwa was, so he did not say anything. He threw Xiao Hanya a furtive glance before looking away. Helan Jin's smile deepened when she saw the look the bureau chief gave Xiao Hanya. Point 2. Helan Jin was amused. Xiao Hanya seemed to be better at playing games than she was. He had brought lawyers to write Lu Zifan's will, and now he was playing with Lu Zifan and Hiroashiwa. Helan Jin felt that she and Xiao Hanya had the same goals, and if this were the case, then it would not matter which one of them made a move. As long as the goals were achieved, Helan Jin was happy. Point 2. I know, Director Chen said. Point 2. Hiroashiwa yanked the folder from the bureau chief's hand. Director Chen suddenly let go, and several sheets of paper scattered all over the floor. The lawyers very quickly picked them up. Point 2. H Street Girls recruitment. Timely compensation. The most beautiful and the best performers will receive additional commission. Candidate Hiroashiwa, one of the lawyers said, reading the text out loud. His face red. The lawyer handed the paper back to Hiroashiwa. Do you perform well, Miss He? 2. Hiroashiwa was shocked. She could not believe what she heard and snatched the document from the lawyer. She was sure she put the right document in her bag. What was this recruitment letter doing in her bag? 2. Flipping through the stack of papers that the lawyers handed to her, Hiroashiwa felt like she had been hit in the head. She was completely dumbfounded. Point 2. Impossible, Hiroashiwa blurted out, visibly dazed. These weren't in my bag. What I had was the He family's. Lu Zifan stepped forward and cut her short. Xiaoshiwa, you're confused. Although the He family is currently in a financial crisis, you can't apply for this job. 2. Lu Zifan's angry voice brought Hiroashiwa back to her senses. She stopped talking, knowing that she almost blew Lu Zifan's cover. Point 2. Director Chen looked meaningfully at Lu Zifan and then at Hiroashiwa. He picked up the green bodysuit and the green hat that had fallen to the floor. Since young Master Lu doesn't like the Bureau's environmental protection uniform, I'll take my leave. 2. As for that piece of land, I will leave it to someone who has integrity, Director Chen said before walking out of the hotel. Point 2. The bureau chief was gone when Lu Zifan recovered from the shock. Lu Zifan was going to chase the director, but Hiroashiwa held him back by pulling his arm. Brother Zifan, she cried pleadingly. I swear I put the correct document in my bag. I don't know what happened, too. Hiroashua racked her brains, but she could not think of anyone who could have changed the document. Besides herself, Tang Jilin and He Winching, there was no one else in the house. Who could have gone to her room while she was having a bath, too? Could Tang Jilin or He Winching have done it? Are they starting to suspect me? Hiroashua wondered out loud. Point 2. Xiao Hanya elegantly wiped his fingertips with a handkerchief. He looked sideways at Ilan Jean and raised his handsome eyebrows. Your gaze clearly shows that you have taken a fancy to me, he said, and took a sip of his wine. Point 2. Ilan Jean stretched her arms above her head, as if she just woke up. She looked sideways at Xiao Hanya and leaned toward him. She took his chin in her hand and stared at his handsome face for quite some time, as if studying his features. Why do you have a bad face? Have you always been a bad guy, too? Xiao Hanya did not move. He just sat there and let Ilan Jean admire him as she pleased. Point 2. Do you really want to know? Xiao Hanya asked as he tugged at Ilan Jean's hair. She could feel his hot breath on her neck and his thin lips that were pressed against her ear. Why, isn't Missy also a little bad guy, too? Says who? I'm a decent woman, came Ilan Jean's quick retort. She felt her ears itch as Xiao Hanya tugged at her. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's intoxicating laughter rang softly in her ears. He said in a low voice. I like that, too. Xiao Hanya spoke into Ilan Jean's ears so faintly that Ilan Jean had to think whether he really said it or she was merely hallucinating. Point 2. Young Master Lu, don't go. The will hasn't been made yet, one of the lawyers shouted as he chased after Lu Ziffin, who had turned around to leave. The lawyer pulled Lu Ziffin back and made a sales pitch. You're still young, Master Lu. If you die tomorrow, then you will already have a will in place, too. Who are you saying will die tomorrow? Lu Ziffin snapped at the lawyer, his face black with anger. Point 2. Taken aback by Lu Ziffin's action, the lawyer took a half step back. Isn't everyone going to die sooner or later? The lawyer asked. Young Master Lu, are you immortal, too? Get lost, Lu Ziffin told the lawyer through gritted teeth. He had had enough. These men did not seem like real lawyers. They were probably just here to anger him to death. Point 2. Hiroashua ran after Lu Ziffin. Hubby, listen please. Someone played a trick on me. You have to believe that I had the information in my hands, too. Hiroashua, do you think you can keep fooling me? Lu Ziffin said coldly. My tolerance is limited. If you don't give me what I want, we're finished. He drove away, not wishing to deal with her right now. Point 2. Hiroashua was so mad she wanted to kill someone. Point 2. Turning her head, Hiroashua saw Ilan Jean in an elegant white sweater lazily leaning against the glass window of the hotel. Ilan Jean seemed to be flirting with a man. Hiroashua furiously made an about face, bent on giving Ilan Jean hell. Point 2. Ilan Jean, get lost, Hiroashua said as she started toward the door. Point 2. But before Hiroashua got inside the hotel, a server turned around to close the glass door, hitting Hiroashua in the face. She staggered backward as her nose started bleeding. Point 2. Xiao Hanya stood up and put his coat on. He expertly wrapped Ilan Jean's scarf around her neck and bent down to retrieve her coat. Xiao Hanya then grabbed her hand and said, This hotel does not have the best ambience. Let's go too. Xiao Hanya looked as if he was dragging Ilan Jean away. Point 2. When they reached the door, Xiao Hanya shook Ilan Jean's coat and put on her. Point 2. Jean, was all Qi Nan could say as he watched the two head out. *MN, that man is a pervert. He likes me, but he wants a mess with you. Don't be fooled, thought Qi Nan. He was stunned for a moment, but when he regained his senses, Qi Nan stood up to chase after Xiao Hanya. Point 2. When the lawyer saw this, they quickly stepped forward and blocked Qi Nan's way. Point 2. Get out of the way. Qi Nan was anxious for his friend, who had been kidnapped. What if Xiao Hanya turned out to be a beast? How would Ilan Jean defend herself, too? Third, young Master Qin, it's fine if you want to chase after Miss He, said one of the lawyers. But we would only get out of the way if and when you return the car keys, too. Qi Nan shot the lawyer an angry look. When EF asked her CK, did I take your keys, too? Qi Nan started panicking inwardly, thinking of Xiao Hanya's attitude towards Ilan Jean. Sports car, the lawyer said in a clear voice. Qi Nan felt doused with cold water and he instantly sobered up. He looked at the lawyers lined up in front of him. Now that he was seeing their faces up close, he realized that they did not look like respectable lawyers. They looked more like bandits and hooligans, too. "Here, take them," Chi Nin exclaimed as he threw the keys of his beloved sports car to the men. None of them moved to catch the keys, which fell to the floor with a clatter. Point two. Chi Nin's heart ached to see the keys on the floor. He ran forward to retrieve the keys and gritted his teeth as he threw the group of men a question. "Is that person with the surname Chiao a hooligan, too?" Seeing the men moving toward him, Chi Nin asked in alarm, What are you doing?" The men picked him up and dragged him out of the hotel. Point two. Chi Nin resisted, but he realized that these people were not regular men. Although he was a satisfactory Taekwondo master, he did not stand a chance against them. They were strong and well-versed in the art of intimidation that Chi Nin had no choice but to let them take him away. Point two. Chi Nin's mind was filled with terror. How powerful was Xiao Hanya that his supposed lawyers seemed like martial arts experts? 2. Third young master Qin, I see that you are young and you like to flirt with girls, one of the lawyers said. What will happen to your inheritance if you die one day? Which of your virgins will inherit your share of the Qin family's wealth? Let's take you to our office so we can properly talk about your will. The lawyer's invitation sounded legitimate, but Qin Nan knew that he had just been openly kidnapped by Xiao Hanya's men. Point two. Outside, Xiao Hanya was firmly holding Helan Jin's hand. She tried to free herself from his grip, but Xiao Hanya was just too strong. Hearing Qin Nan yelp as he was taken away by the lawyers, Helan Jin laughed out loud. The scene was so comical that it seemed to be a part of a movie. Point two. Do those lawyers work for you? Helan Jin asked curiously. Point two. They looked like lawyers, but she could tell from the way they carried themselves that they were definitely martial arts experts. Qin Nan was a Taekwondo master, but he looked like a meek lamb in front of them. Point two. Yes, Xiao Hanya replied in his deep voice. He saw Helan Jin blush, and the smile in his eyes deepened. Point two. Helan Jin was a little devil, and Xiao Hanya was used to that side of her. It was endearing. But he definitely found her even more irresistible when she reveals her soft and shy side. Point two. I smell roasted sweet potatoes. I'm going to buy some, Helan Jin said, evidently thrilled. She pulled her hand away from Xiao Hanya, who loosened his grip when he heard the excitement in her voice. Point two. Xiao Hanya smiled as he watched Helan Jin run toward the sweet potato stall. She bent down to enjoy the fragrance of the snack and happily gestured with her small hands. Boss, give me one please, too. The seller smiled and handed her a serving, saying, Be careful, it's hot. 2. Helan Jin reached in her pocket to pay for her purchase, but even before she could take out the money, she heard Xiao Hanya say, Please keep the change. 2. Thank you, young master. The old seller took the money, smiling from ear to ear. He looked at Helan Jin and Xiao Hanya and said fawningly, Madam, I've seen countless people. I can tell that your husband is definitely a good man. 2. Helan Jin wanted to explain that Xiao Hanya was not her husband. However, she realized that refuting a stranger was quite meaningless, so she just did not say anything. Point two. Xiao Hanya was expecting Helan Jin to react negatively, so he was tickled pink when she did not say anything. Point two. Helan Jin opened the sweet potato packet and reached in to pinch a small piece. She put it into her mouth, causing her fingertips to be stained with saliva. Without wiping her hand, she again reached into the bag to get a small piece. Mr. Chiao, do you want a bite? Helan Jin said as she offered him the piece. Point two. Her almond-shaped eyes were full of cunning, as if she was deliberately teasing him. She did not expect Xiao Hanya to see through her plan, but he did, and he lowered his head to bite the piece of sweet potato. Helan Jin hurriedly withdrew her hand, but Xiao Hanya caught her wrist and held it firmly. He then bit the fingers that were holding the piece and slid his tongue to wet her fingers with his saliva. Point two. Helan Jin's body trembled. Her fingertips felt numb as if they had been electrocuted. Xiao Hanya really ate the sweet potato, too. Xiao Hanya, you hooligan. Helan Jin's face was as red as a burning cloud. She could not look at Xiao Hanya straight in the eye. She threw the entire packet of sweet potato at him and rubbed her fingertips repeatedly. No matter how hard she tried, she could not wipe away the residual warmth that his tongue had left behind. Point two. The feeling spread to every nerve in Helanjin's body. It was a strange, but not an unpleasant feeling that warmed her heart. Xiao Hanya watched as Helanjin fled from him. He followed her at a moderate pace. He carefully peeled the skin off the sweet potato and fell in a step with her. Helanjin, come and have a bite, Xiao Hanya said as he offered her the snack. Point two. I don't want it anymore, Helanjin refused. As soon as she finished speaking, Helanjin felt strange. Why was she acting like a pretentious little girl in front of Xiao Hanya? This was not like her at all, too. She felt embarrassed to realize that they looked like a quarreling couple. Point two. Be good. Have a bite, Xiao Hanya said, patiently coaxing Helanjin. He brought the sweet potato closer to Helanjin's mouth. Go on. If you don't eat it now, it will get cold, too. Helanjin looked at Xiao Hanya. Their eyes met, and her heart started beating even faster. After what seemed like an eternity, she took the sweet potato from him and looked away. She started eating the sweet potato absent-mindedly. Point two. What's wrong? Xiao Hanya asked, noticing Helanjin's sudden silence. Is there anything in your mind? He walked close to her, ready to strike should someone attack. Point two. Helanjin walked, nibbling on the sweet potato. She laughed softly and said, This good sister of mine saved my life back then. She has become more and more arrogant over the years. Now, she even wants to replace me. I wonder if I was wrong to trust her then. Too. I trusted the wrong person, Helanjin said softly. That's why I keep making mistakes, too. She would not even tell Qin Nan about these things. But for some reason, she found it very easy to tell Xiao Hanya how she felt. Point two. The human heart is hard to predict, Xiao Hanya replied. Just be yourself, too. After she finished eating, Helanjin suddenly winked at Xiao Hanya and said, She is very charming. Look at Lu Zifan. He is mesmerized by her. Do you want me to arrange a meet-up between the two of you, too? Xiao Hanya took Helanjin's hand and wiped it with the handkerchief that he took from his pocket. Okay, he said as he pocketed the handkerchief and walked away. Point two. I'm serious, Helanjin said as she followed Xiao Hanya. He turned around, grabbed her by the wrist, and said, I'm serious too, before leading her away. Point two. Helanjin stared at the back of Xiao Hanya's head. She would never have guessed that he would like Hiruashua. Point two. Helanjin had always known Xiao Hanya to be exceptional, elegant, and domineering. His taste was definitely not ordinary, or so she thought. Now, it was clear that he was just like any other man who liked flirtatious girls with big breasts. Helanjin knew she was not supposed to feel this way, but she was very disappointed in him. Point two. Lost in her thoughts, Helanjin did not notice that Xiao Hanya had led her into a shop. Point two. A saleslady approached them, saying, Sir, may I know what kind of piece you were interested in, too? The store manager panicked and pushed the saleslady away from Xiao Hanya. The manager walked toward Xiao Hanya with a smile on his face. Two elegantly dressed ladies followed him, holding up a tray. Mr. Xiao, please take a look, the store manager respectfully said. Point two. Xiao Hanya nodded and opened the small velvet box on the tray. He held up Helanjin's hand to see if the item fit. Point two. Helanjin was still oblivious to what was happening, imagining how Hiruashua would crush Xiao Hanya in bed. She snapped out of it when she felt something cold. She looked down to see that there was a diamond ring on her finger. Point two. Congratulations, Mrs. Xiao. This diamond ring of yours is made of very special material. Wearing it won't hurt your fingers. We wish you and Mr. Xiao a happy old age and a fruitful union. The store manager brought all the employees and bowed respectfully, reciting the lines they had prepared beforehand. Point two. Helanjin was stunned. She looked incredulously at this group of people, then at Xiao Hanya. She started to take off the diamond ring, too. But Xiao Hanya held both her hands and looked at her straight in the eye. I love only you, too. By putting that ring on, you lay claim to me. Scenery Garden is yours. The sports car is yours, and I am yours, too. Helanjin suddenly sneered and said, Is Han Beicheng mine, too? Han Beicheng walked into the jewelry store and suddenly felt Xiao Hanya's cold black eyes on him. Han Beicheng felt a chill run down his spine as if death was coming, making him want to step out of the store again. Point two. You are fired, Xiao Hanya said, his voice almost a growl. Point two. Han Beicheng was deeply confused. Master, I too. Everyone in the store grew silent, the atmosphere growing thicker by the second. Han Beicheng knew that he must have done something wrong, but whatever it was, he did not mean it. He quietly walked to Helan Jin's side. What happened to my master, too? Han Beicheng searched his brain. Did his master suddenly contract an endocrine disorder that was causing his bad mood? 2. Before Helan Jin could say anything, Xiao Hanya grabbed Han Beicheng by the collar and dragged him out. Xiao Hanya went back into the store, and as the glass door behind him closed, he walked toward Helan Jin and said, Helan Jin, you're now wearing my diamond ring. From now on, I'm yours. Point two. You can keep me, or you can keep me, either way, Xiao Hanya said in a low voice. Point two. Helan Jin held back her laughter and looked at the diamond ring on her finger. She rubbed her small hands in disbelief and said, Ha, okay. From now on, you're mine, too. She looked at him slyly. He was so handsome, she could not help but think what would happen if he fell into her hands, too. Everyone in the store was shocked. Here's someone who actually dared to say that she was keeping young Master Qiao as her possession. Anyone who would even have thought of saying this would be gambling with their lives. But she had claimed him in front of these people, and all young Master Qiao did was look at her dotingly and say okay. 2. The store manager, unable to take the turn of events, fainted from fright. He fell to the floor with a thud, and the sales clerks rushed to his aid. Point two. Fine, Helan Jin said, her spirits lifting. From now on, you're mine, and I need you to work hard. Cowards make a lot of money these days, don't they? 2. Xiao Hanya did not say anything, but he saw that she was planning something again. You're already wearing it, so you can't take it off, too. Are you kidding me? Why would I take off something so pretty? Helan Jin hid her hands from Xiao Hanya, thinking of how to make him earn a lot of money. Point two. Well, Helan Jin said as she waved at Xiao Hanya. I'm going ahead, too. Han Beicheng stood there alone outside the store, thinking about what he could have done wrong. What went wrong? His master was a man of restraint. What could have provoked Xiao Hanya's outburst? Han Beicheng thought and thought, but nothing came to mind. Point two. Han Beicheng saw Helan Jin leave the store. Something in her fingers sparkled so bright that he had to blink. He wanted to see clearly what the thing was, but Helan Jin had driven away. Point two. Xiao Hanya came out of the store and looked at the trembling Han Beicheng. Han Beicheng straightened up and said respectfully, Master, you have a meeting in half an hour, too. It's just that the people from the Lu group have been asking to see you, but they were rejected by our people, Han Beicheng quickly said. Okay, Xiao Hanya replied and walked towards the back seat. Han Beicheng got into the driver's seat and watched Xiao Hanya flipping through the information that had been prepared for him. Xiao Hanya did not mention anything about the incident in the store, so Han Beicheng dared not open his mouth. Point two. Meanwhile, too, leaving the jewelry store, Helan Jin drove away to buy some fruits. She was ready to return to the studio. Point two. As she walked back to her car, Helan Jin saw a group of ruffians randomly collecting rent from street vendors. Helan Jin quickly stepped forward to stop them as they started beating up a seller. One of the thugs slashed at Helan Jin with a knife, saying, You've better mind your own business. Be *tch. 2. Helan Jin kicked the attacker's arm, sending the knife flying. Seeing this, the rest of the group rushed over to Helan Jin. Point two. While fighting off her attackers, Helan Jin noticed someone staring at her hand, and her face turned pale. She rushed over to block the person from one of the ruffians, taking a stick for him. Point two. Noticing the commotion, a small group of police officers rushed over. Chief, too. Bruised and in pain, the hooligans fell to the ground. Helan Jin stood over their leader, her foot on his chest. How can Jiang City allow idiots like you to extort money from simple street vendors? Don't you know that it's wrong to bully people, especially honest, common folk? 2. Hearing her words, the man, whom Helan Jin saved from further beating, came forward. He passed through the thugs, whose faces and mouths were bloodied. Don't worry, said the man, who happened to be the chief of police. We are taking care of the matter. This will be dealt with the soonest possible time. 2. Are you okay? Helanjin asked, concerned upon seeing the man tremble. I could bring you to the hospital and get your injuries checked. 2. The chief smiled and straightened his back. What's the big deal about a man getting hit by a stick? Don't worry about anything. I will see to this matter myself. 2. Helanjin's phone rang. It was Inwan. Seeing that the police had everything under control, Helanjin rushed to the studio. 2. Inwan quickly stopped the game she was playing when she saw Helanjin walk in. Look, Ajin, Inwan said as she handed Helanjin a file. 2. Helanjin took off her coat and hung it on a chair as she got the folder from Inwan. She frowned at the information, rubbing her faintly aching temples. Hiroashua doesn't share the same blood type with either of her biological parents, so it's possible that her deceased parents aren't her real parents, too. Inwan nodded. No wonder she couldn't wait to enter the He family and change her surname that quickly, too. Closing the folder, Helanjin leaned back on the sofa and stared at the ceiling. After some time, she said, "It seems like a conspiracy, like her parents' death was predetermined." 2. That makes sense, Inwan said. Otherwise, how could they have been killed by the people who kidnapped you? Their deaths were never not justified. But just a thought, could you have been their target? Or the whole He family, too? Inwan spoke carefully. If it weren't for Helanjin, she would never get involved in anything that was even slightly related to the He family. 2. Ajin, where are you going? Inwan said as she stood up to follow Helanjin. 2. It now made sense to Helanjin why Hiroashua never left Jiang City, not even on her supposed parents' death anniversary. Not once did Hiroashua pay respect to her late parents' graves. The realization appalled Helanjin. 2. These thoughts dampened Helanjin's mood. She felt as if there was a layer of fog shrouding her head, clouding her vision. 2. Ajin, there's really something wrong with Hiroashua. Would you like me to talk to your parents about this? Inwan's voice was full of concern. 2. Helanjin shook her head and smiled wryly. There's no need. It was their idea to adopt Hiroashua back then. Besides, telling them anything about their beloved Hiroashua is useless unless they discover the deception themselves. 2. The two went out for something to eat. When they got back to the studio, Helanjin was puzzled to see Inwan staring at her. 2. Why are you staring at me? Have I suddenly become a handsome man? Helanjin said as she looked down and sized up her breast. 2. Seeing Helanjin push her chest up, Inwan burst into laughter. Io, does Missy have a boyfriend now? Your breasts seem to be getting bigger, too. Why? Can't my breasts get bigger without a boyfriend? Inwan was teasing her, so Helanjin had to step out of the office for some peace and quiet. 2. But before Helanjin could move, Inwan saw the diamond ring on her hand. Is this a diamond ring? Inwan said as she grabbed Helanjin's hand to take a closer look. Are you really going to King Mary Lou Ziffin? Bah, I thought you had good taste, but now I know that you're really blind. 2. What diamond ring? Helanjin had forgotten about the ring on her finger. She only remembered that she was wearing it when Inwan asked about it. 2. Xiao Hanya forced this diamond ring on her. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't take it off. What she did not know was that this diamond ring was a symbol of the Qiao family, and that it could mobilize thousands of troops. 2. This isn't from Lou Ziffin, Helanjin said. She pushed Inwan out and locked the door. 2. Helanjin returned to her desk, looked at the diamond ring, and tried to take it off. She gave up after a few seconds and devoted herself to her work instead. She wanted to develop the new software as soon as possible. 2. Helanjin encountered a snag in her program and had to find a workaround. She holed up in the studio, staying up 3 nights in a row. She did not want any distractions, so she set up her phone to not receive calls except from Shun Bichyoung's number. Unknown to Helanjin, Lou Ziffin had been looking for her, anxious to know what she had been up to. 2. Late at night, the scenery garden. 2. It was a quiet night. The dim light enveloped the entire scenery garden, making it seem like a quiet, sleeping manor. 2. Coming home from meeting, Xiao Hanya headed straight for his room. As he walked past Helanjin's bedroom, he noticed, for the 3rd night in a row, that it was pitch black inside. He stood looking at the door for some time before finally deciding to push it open and walk into the room. The room was spotless, and the bed showed no signs of being slept in. Point 2. Master, Han Beicheng said from outside of Ilan Jin's bedroom. Point 2. Without a word, Xiao Hanya walked out of the room and went to his study. He sat down and discussed business with Han Beicheng as usual, but the latter could not help notice how absent-minded his master was. Point 2. Master, Han Beicheng said in an effort to call Xiao Hanya's attention. Xiao Hanya, however, seemed to be totally lost in his thoughts. Taking the car keys, the master stood up and went out of the study without a word. Point 2. Han Beicheng immediately got up to follow his master, but Xiao Hanya quickly disappeared into the night. Point 2. What is happening to my master? Han Beicheng scratched his head. He felt confused that Xiao Hanya's thoughts were getting more and more difficult to understand as the days went by. Point 2. There was nothing Han Beicheng could do but return to the study room. He wanted to make sure that all the information Xiao Hanya would need was correct and ready at all times. Point 2. Midnight. The lounge at Ilan Jin's studio. Point 2. Having worked nonstop for 3 days and 3 nights, Ilan Jin fell asleep on the desk she was working on. When she woke up, she was surprised to find herself on the sofa, covered in what seemed like a man's coat. It smelled comfortingly familiar. Point 2. Feeling her legs go numb from her sleeping position, she stretched and saw Xiao Hanya in the moonlight, leaning lazily on the window. She bolted upright, realizing that it was not just an illusion. Why was he here? Ilan Jin asked herself as she watched Xiao Hanya rest his eyes. Point 2. Why does this good man have to be so handsome? Ilan Jin said in a low voice. She playfully reached out to touch his face. Point 2. But before she could lay her hand on him, Ilan Jin was lifted into the air before falling into Xiao Hanya's arms. Xiao Hanya opened his eyes and looked straight into Ilan Jin's. Point 2. Ahem, how did you know I was here? Ilan Jin huffed, trying to cover up her naughtiness. Xiao Hanya, you're trespassing. I have a mind to call the police, too. Jin, Xiao Hanya said, his voice hoarse. Point 2. Hearing Xiao Hanya call her Jin, Ilan Jin felt electricity run through her body. She sat in his arms, unable to move. This was the first time he had called her name affectionately since they met. Point 2. What's wrong? Ilan Jin asked, recovering from the shock. Point 2. Xiao Hanya tightened his arms around Ilan Jin, pulling her into his embrace. He lowered his head and pressed his face against hers. He remained in that position for several seconds, as if savoring the moment. I think I miss you, too. Jin. Xiao Hanya's voice was like a dream in the middle of the night, a precious sound that touched her heart. She turned her head to look at Xiao Hanya, and when their eyes met, the air seemed to ignite with the flames of love. Point 2. Xiao Hanya ran his fingers through Ilan Jin's hair, stopping at the back of her head. I miss you, too. Love was a strong force to be reckoned with, difficult to resist and turn away from. Point 2. With that one look from Ilan Jin, Xiao Hanya knew it was the life he wanted. Me? Ilan Jin was both deeply moved and shocked by Xiao Hanya's show of affection. Her mouth felt dry, and she had to step back and stand up as she felt him drawing closer. Her legs, however, gave way, causing her to lose balance and crash into his arms. Her lips serendipitously landed on his. Point 2. Xiao Hanya wasted no time and kissed Ilan Jin, every nerve of his body screaming as he gave in to something he had long wanted to do. Ilan Jin instinctively grabbed Xiao Hanya by the shoulders as she nervously kissed him back. Point 2. A soft moan escaped from Ilan Jin's throat as Xiao Hanya savored her cherry lips. The kiss seemed to drain her, leaving her so powerless that she had to cling to his embrace. Point 2. Ilan Jin's lips were like the dry sand of the desert, longing to be nourished by the sweet spring brought about by Xiao Hanya. The kiss started clumsily but built up as Xiao Hanya found encouragement in Ilan Jin's response. Point 2. Ilan Jin groaned softly as her body fell onto the sofa with his support. Xiao Hanya's muscular body pressed down on hers, his fingers caressing her shoulders. Point 2. Ilan Jin raised her head, and Xiao Hanya's kiss slowly trailed down her neck. Point 2. Xiao Hanya could hear Helan Jean's delicate breathing as he indulged in her sweetness. But as the winter wind blew through the window, the chill extinguished Xiao Hanya's passion point too. Damn it, Xiao Hanya muttered to himself as he stood up and watched Helan Jean's sweater slide down, revealing her sexy shoulders. She lay on the sofa, her jet black hair framing her face, making her look exceptionally alluring. Marks of his kiss could be faintly seen on her neck point too. Xiao Hanya fixed Helan Jean's sweater, covering another spot his lips wanted to travel to point two. Helan Jean sobered up when Xiao Hanya drew back. Her mind went blank. Not even in her wildest dreams did she expect that she and Xiao Hanya would kiss. She had always been rational, not allowing herself to lose her sense of propriety. But why did she always turn into a mess in front of him? 2. Helan Jean turned and got up to leave, but Xiao Hanya quickly hugged her from behind point two. Xiao Hanya lowered his head and rested his chin on Helan Jean's shoulder as he hugged her closer to him. "Ah, Jean," he said in a hoarse voice, "I'm sorry for offending you just now. I want to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I want to protect you, too." As he whispered in her ear, Xiao Hanya took Helan Jean's small hands and held them tight point two. "Oh, so you did that on purpose?" Helan Jean said as she struggled to free herself from Xiao Hanya, who would not let her go point two. He hugged Helan Jean tightly, as if afraid that she would run away. "You haven't been home for 3 days. You're afraid that you'll be abducted by another man. So when you saw me, you naturally couldn't help yourself, too." Helan Jean laughed heartily upon hearing what Xiao Hanya said. Finally breaking free from his embrace, she took half a step back to maintain distance from him. She looked him up and down and said, "I can't help myself? Huh? Then let me see if you can help yourself, too." Just as Helan Jean finished speaking, Xiao Hanya stepped forward and grabbed her by the waist. He lifted her up and spun her around on the spot. "Don't tempt me like that," he said in a low voice. "I won't be able to stand it, too." Xiao Hanya's confession overwhelmed Helan Jean. She cried out in fear when she saw him suddenly let go of her point two. Xiao Hanya let go of Helan Jean, but he was also quick to catch her and plant her steadily on the floor. "Answer my question," she demanded. "If you don't answer, I'll take it as your acquiescence, too." Helan Jean suddenly kicked Xiao Hanya in the shins, causing him to recoil in pain. She turned around and ran out with his car keys point two. "Mrs. Xiao, wait for me," Xiao Hanya shouted as he picked up his coat and followed behind Helan Jean. Mrs. Xiao, too." "Shut up," Helan Jean said. She quickly turned around and covered Xiao Hanya's mouth, afraid that the night shift employees would hear them. Xiao Hanya looked at her furtively, and his eyes shining with shrewd calculation point two. Xiao Hanya deliberately shouted, knowing that Helan Jean did not want to draw any attention. If he made noise, she would naturally return to his side to cover his mouth point two. Helan Jean only realized what Xiao Hanya was doing when she was already beside him, covering his mouth. Why did she keep falling into his trap? Seeing Xiao Hanya looking intently at her, Helan Jean felt her mouth and tongue go dry. She covered his eyes with her palm and said, "Don't use your face to seduce me, too." "Yes," Xiao Hanya replied without missing a beat. "From now on, I'll listen to everything you say, too." The cold wind blew as the two walked out of the studio. Helan Jean rubbed her arms to shield herself from the chill point two. "Here," Xiao Hanya said as he draped his coat over her shoulders point two. Helan Jean was tall, but she looked much smaller with Xiao Hanya's coat wrapped around her. "Aren't you cold?" she asked, noticing that Xiao Hanya was wearing clothes made of thin fabric point two. "Why should men be afraid of a little cold weather?" Xiao Hanya said, "What men are secretly most afraid of is not meeting the love of their life." He took Helan Jean's cold hands and warmed them in his point two. Mr. Xiao, you make it sound so nice," Helan Jean said, amused. "Are you this scared you wouldn't be able to get yourself a wife, too? There are more men than women in our society today, which is why many men like you stay single. But I find it really hard to believe that you can't find a wife with that face. You're so handsome women would practically throw themselves at you with legs wide open, too." Xiao Hanya wordlessly held Helan Jean's hand, his fingertips brushing against the diamond ring she was wearing. Point 2. Jin playfully leaned on Xiao Hanya and asked in a soft voice, "Don't tell me you have a hidden illness you don't want people to know." 2. Jin suddenly thought of Qin Nan, who would not last a day without a girl by his side. She even suspected him of being the reincarnation of a stallion. Point 2. Xiao Hanya, on the other hand, was Qin Nan's opposite. Jin had been living in Jing Garden for some time now, but she had never once seen Xiao Hanya with a woman. His bedroom, which was unbelievably simple, was proof that he was indeed single. Point 2. Mr. Qiao, why do you want to gain my favor? Jin asked curiously. Was Xiao Hanya after the He family, just like Lu Zifan, too? Xiao Hanya pursed his lips and said in a low voice, "Because I'm someone who wants you, too." "You want me?" Jin was so shocked that she stepped away from Xiao Hanya. She put her hands behind her as she scrutinized him like a military officer inspecting a new recruit. Point 2. "How many women have you been with in the past?" 2. "I've never been with a woman," Xiao Hanya answered, his voice serious. He was telling the truth. He had never been with anyone. Point 2. "Really?" Jin said, unable to believe what she just heard. Point 2. "I never had feelings for anybody before. I never liked, never wanted anybody. But now, all I want is in front of me. You are enough," Xiao Hanya said. He walked after Jin and fell in a step with her. He watched as his shadow, elongated by the streetlights, joined hers. Point 2. Jin slyly narrowed her eyes. "The great Xiao Hanya likes me?" "Sure, too. Let's see how much," Jin said. "You see, there is a courtyard nearby. Inside the courtyard are hundreds of vicious dogs. This courtyard is owned by a very mysterious man who owns peach trees that bloom in winter. Would you dare go inside the courtyard and bring me one lucky peach blossom, too?" Jin did not intend to make Xiao Hanya take the risk of being attacked by vicious dogs. She was merely teasing him. She wanted to see if he would get scared. Point 2. "Really?" Xiao Hanya said as he walked forward. "Peach blossoms in winter, huh?" 2. Jin continued walking as they passed the courtyard, and was about 3 steps ahead when she noticed that Xiao Hanya had stopped walking. "Wait for me," Xiao Hanya said ambiguously. Turning to ask Xiao Hanya where he was going, Jin was shocked to see that he was climbing the courtyard wall. "Xiao Hanya, are you crazy?" Jin said, concerned. "Those vicious dogs won't think twice about attacking you. Get back here, too." She was just joking. Xiao Hanya was not supposed to take this seriously. Point 2. Looking up, Jin saw that he had reached the top of the wall. Xiao Hanya jumped without warning, and the dogs immediately started barking fiercely. Point 2. "Xiao Hanya, get back here. Those dogs are going to mangle you." Jin anxiously took off the coat Xiao Hanya draped on her and threw it to the ground before climbing up the wall herself. Looking down, she saw that the courtyard was pitch black. She could hear the dogs pouncing below her, but there was no sign of Xiao Hanya. Point 2. Jin's heart felt heavy, knowing that she had put Xiao Hanya in danger. But how was she to know he would take her jokes seriously, too? Jin jumped off the wall to look for Xiao Hanya, but someone had grabbed her by the ankle. She dangled like a wooden puppet, her foot held by a black figure on top of the wall. Point 2. "Who are you?" "Let go of me," Jin said, struggling to free herself from the person's strong grip. Point 2. "Nan Feng," the person replied, his voice deep and hoarse, as if his throat was injured. The voice sounded rather jarring in the middle of the night, but under different circumstances, one might find it very sexy. Point 2. Jin would not stop moving. She needed to free herself and look for Xiao Hanya. "I don't care whether your name is Bei Feng or Nan Feng or whatever. You need to let go of my leg." 2. "I can't let go," Nan Feng said, his face devoid of expression. It did not matter, though, because he was wearing a hat that obscured his appearance. All Jin knew was that this Nan Feng was tall and strong. Point 2. "But why?" Jin asked, surprised. Point 2. "You have to live. Young Master has yet to consummate his marriage. Young Master is a righteous and decent person. He absolutely would not rape a corpse." Nan Feng was still thinking about the night he thought was Xiao Hanya's first. Nan Feng knew that the 18 generations of the Qiao family's ancestors would willingly rise from their graves to revive Qiao Hanya and persuade him to sow his seed. Point 2. Helan Jin was impressed. This man was not just strong. He seemed to have a big brain. 2.2. Hey, do you want to change jobs? I'll give you a high rate, Helan Jin said, a little excited. She needed someone with a quick brain to develop software. Point 2. Helan Jin waited, but did not get an answer. Instead, she heard dogs barking fiercely. The air seemed to have been tainted with the smell of blood. She saw a flash of something, which could have easily been a limb bitten off by one of the dogs. Qiao Hanya, she shouted in alarm. Point 2. What if those dogs accidentally killed Qiao Hanya? Helan Jin knew that Qiao Hanya knew how to defend himself, but she did not trust those dogs. Point 2. Helan Jin used all her strength to free herself from Nan Feng. She jumped into the courtyard, bent to give her all to rescue Qiao Hanya, be he alive or dead. Point 2. Young madam, Nan Feng said as he tried to grab Helan Jin from atop the wall. He, however, saw something flash below. He quickly jumped off the wall and disappeared into the night. Point 2. Before Helan Jin's feet even touched the ground, she felt an arm around her waist. All of a sudden, she was being carried to the top of the wall and out of the courtyard. Point 2. Ah, Jean, your lucky peach blossom. Qiao Hanya's magnetic voice sounded above Helan Jin's head. Point 2. Helan Jin looked up to see Qiao Hanya holding out a single peach blossom, and the sight filled her eyes with the color of spring. Point 2. Didn't you know those dogs could kill people? Helan Jin's nose was a little sore, and she felt a lump in her throat. Point 2. Qiao Hanya gently laid the peach blossom on Helan Jin's hand and tucked another behind her ear. Compared to you, those dogs are insignificant, too. You. Helan Jin was so angry at Qiao Hanya for being so reckless that she turned around and walked away. He quickly followed her and hugged her tight, refusing to let go. Point 2. The warmth of Qiao Hanya's embrace melted Helan Jin's anger. She softened against him, comforted by the steady beat of his heart. Helan Jin's hands gently tugged at the corners of his shirt. Point 2. Ah, Jin, too. Yes, she answered. Point 2. Qiao Hanya hugged Helan Jin tightly, lowered his head, and kissed her hair. I'm very happy to have met you, he said, the joy in his voice hard to miss. Not everyone gets a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity like this. I'll never let you go, Mrs. Qiao, too. Tugging at the corners of Qiao Hanya's shirt, Helan Jin suddenly had an idea. Point 2. She looked at the sky. The night was dark and quiet, with everyone else immersed in their dreams. Helan Jin grabbed Qiao Hanya's hand and said, Let's go somewhere, too. Nan Feng was watching in the dark, a toothpick in his mouth. He wanted to follow the couple and make sure that they were safe, but Qiao Hanya turned his head and gave him a look. Nan Feng retreated and turned to his phone instead. Point 2. What did you call me just now? Helan Jin asked as she led Qiao Hanya through a few streets. Point 2. Mrs. Qiao, Qiao Hanya said in a low voice as he watched Helan Jin point in the direction of the Civil Affairs Bureau office. She turned to him with her hands on her waist and said, If you can have someone open this door before I finish counting to 10, you won't only be lucky in love. You will also have me to bring you through the tomb of marriage, too. Let me see if I get that right. Qiao Hanya looked at Helan Jin meaningfully. If this door opens, then you will marry me, too. Helan Jin swung her ponytail and sat down on the steps leading to the bureau office. She put her hands on her knees and nodded. Yes, too. Just as she finished speaking, Helan Jin heard the door open. She was startled, a trace of surprise flashing across her almond-shaped eyes. Someone wearing a bright red dress came out of the office and said, I'm the director of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I just had a dream that someone was coming to the office to apply for a certificate, so I can take a look, too. And well, here you two are. Serving people is my mission. Please come with me, too. Helan Jin was stunned. Was this premeditated? Qiao Hanya came forward, stretched out his hand to her, and said, Mrs. Qiao, it's not too late to take back what you said, too. Helan Jin stared at Qiao Hanya for a long time, not saying a word. This was just a joke, right? It was in the middle of the night, and not even public restrooms are open during this time. How could the Civil Affairs Director come personally to issue them a certificate? 2. Is Mrs. Chow having second thoughts? Chow Hanya smiled at Elan Jean. Point 2. Elan Jean was dumbfounded. She stared at Chow Hanya, who stared back at her with unfathomable black eyes, as if everything was under control. Point 2. Since Jean is afraid and doesn't dare do what she said, then let's forget it, Chow Hanya said. Point 2. Just as Chow Hanya was about to leave, Elan Jean stood up and entered the office. I didn't bring my ID card and household register, she said to the bureau chief. Let's do it another day, too. There's no need for an ID. Over here, please. Let me take a photo, the bureau chief said, and quickly took a photo of the couple. Don't worry, I'll edit it before stamping, too. Elan Jean was a female soldier who valued her promises. Now she had been forced into a corner, and she had no choice but to honor her word. Point 2. Elan Jean was stunned to see the outcome of the photo. Her face had been edited so much that she appeared comical. She turned up her chin and looked at Chow Hanya. Point 2. There's no need to tweak the photo. My wife is naturally beautiful, Chow Hanya said. Hearing this, the director immediately stamped the marriage certificate and respectfully handed it over. She bowed to the couple and said, May the two of you be blessed with a child soon. 2. Elan Jean walked out of the office in silence, Chow Hanya in tow. Point 2. Elan Jean went to the teller machine and withdrew a big amount of money. She turned to Chow Hanya and said, You go on ahead. I have something to take care of, too. Elan Jean hailed a taxi and left. Chow Hanya drove after the taxi, which stopped by the Liu residence. Elan Jean got off the taxi and rang the doorbell. Liu Ziffin answered the door. Point 2. Jean, you're here. Liu Ziffin, in his pajamas, was delighted to see Elan Jean delivering herself to his door in the middle of the night. Maybe she was here to make up for what happened the last time. Maybe he could coax her into bed and solve all his problems. Point 2. Elan Jean stood by Liu Ziffin's door, looking at his happy expression. She stretched an arm forward, handing him the stack of money she took from the machine a few minutes ago. Point 2. Take it, Elan Jean said, stuffing the money into Liu Ziffin's hand. Point 2. Elan Jean was a woman of principles. She could not be involved with two men at the same time. Now that she had fallen into Chow Hanya's trap, it was best to not drag Liu Ziffin along. Point 2. After settling this with Liu Ziffin, she would go back to Chow Hanya to teach him a lesson. How dare he play tricks on her, too? Liu Ziffin looked at the money in his hand, confused. Why are you giving me money in the middle of the night? Jean, what's happening, too? Liu Ziffin listened carefully. Elan Jean said as she adjusted her coat. With or without the marriage alliance, you and I will never be right for each other, too. What do you mean? An ominous feeling suddenly came upon Liu Ziffin. Point 2. Elan Jean had no intention of beating around the bush. I'm not interested in you. Our engagement is now officially canceled. This is the breakup fee, too. Elan Jean, are you kidding me? The engagement is not something you can cancel whenever you want. Are you so lonely because I have never slept with you? Fine, I will satisfy you. Come inside. Liu Ziffin was extremely angry. Things had not been going well recently, causing the Liu family to go through a disastrous decline. Point 2. He knew that someone was playing tricks behind the scenes. If he could catch that person, then his troubles would disappear. Point 2. But here was stupid Elan Jean, presenting another problem. Why was she breaking up with him? What was wrong with her, too? Insulted, Elan Jean slapped Liu Ziffin without hesitation, causing him to stagger back. She stepped forward and grabbed his collar, almost lifting him off the floor. I've tolerated you for a long time, Liu Ziffin, too. Do you think I'm stupid enough to not know what is going on between you and Hiruwa Shue? I'm breaking up with you now because I do not want you to lose face. Don't be so shameless. I don't have the patience to deal with you anymore. You better keep your distance or I'll castrate you. Elan Jean said and fiercely pushed Liu Ziffin away. Point 2. Elan Jean, do you have anything to do with the Liu family accident? Liu Ziffin asked coldly as he regained his footing. Point 2. Elan Jean shot Liu Ziffin a frosty look. No, too. You dare to break up with me. Aren't you afraid of the repercussions your action would bring to the He family? Liu Ziffin threatened Elan Jean. I can make your family disappear from Jiangsheng in the morning, too. I'll wait and see, Elan Jean said, unafraid. Point 2. Helan Jean knew that Lu Zifan wanted her family secret. She also knew that until he got what he wanted, Lu Zifan would not hurt the He family. Point 2. Helan Jean took out her phone and went online, announcing in social media that things were now over between her and Lu Zifan. Point 2. Helan Jean's breakup announcement in the middle of the night woke up a lot of people, perhaps due to the recent scandal involving Lu Zifan and Hiroashua. Point 2. Poor Miss He. What he did was right. You should not tolerate being cuckolded. 2. Helan Jean's posts immediately attracted many fans who lashed out at Lu Zifan. Rumors about the Lu Corporation started to spread. Point 2. After she made her online announcement, Helan Jean strode away. At the corner of the street, she saw a black BMW slowing down to match her walking pace. Point 2. The car stopped. Xiao Hanya got out of the car and opened the door for Helan Jean. Get in, too. Are you trying to stop me from doing things my own way? Helan Jean sneered, but got in the car anyway. She was living in Jing Garden now, and riding with him would save her the trouble of getting a taxi. Point 2. Oh no, Xiao Hanya said. I don't dare. You have long legs and good skills. I'm no match for you. His reply was unexpected, because this time he was not trying to compete with Helan Jean. Point 2. Helan Jean burst out laughing. Why did she feel a deep sense of happiness every time she was with Xiao Hanya? She had never felt this way before, except when she was with her uncle's family. Point 2. Smiling, Xiao Hanya handed Helan Jean a file. She took it and casually skimmed through the document. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's contract to sell his body. Helan Jean read out loud. She shook her head in disbelief and asked, What do you mean by this? Helan Jean took a closer look at Xiao Hanya's contract and rolled her eyes. Point 2. Do you think I want you? Helan Jean said as she lazily poked him with the document. Point 2. Of course you do. You like my body right now, and you will continue liking it in the future, Xiao Hanya said as he turned the car around. Point 2. Back in the Lu residence, Lu Zifan stomped and kicked the door in anger. As if what Helan Jean did was not infuriating enough, Lu Zifan's foot got caught in the door. He screamed in pain, breaking the stillness of the night. Point 2. Holding the file in one hand, Helan Jean lifted Xiao Hanya's chin with her other hand and said, So you want to play tricks with me? Huh. 2. It's not a trick. It's the truth, Xiao Hanya said, a bit ruffled that Helan Jean was not being true to her word. Let me refresh your memory. On your first night in Jing Garden, someone was watching me while I was bathing. I still do not know who that little fairy is. 2. Helan Jean fell silent. Point 2. Helan Jean did not answer, but the gears in her head were whirring. She could tell with single look that Xiao Hanya was deviously planning something. Point 2. Helan Jean's phone suddenly rang, breaking the silence in the car. She looked at her phone and huffed. What does he want this time? 2. Who? Xiao Hanya asked. Point 2. Helan Jean held up her phone and showed Xiao Hanya the caller ID display name. My dad, too. Xiao Hanya took the phone to answer the call. Hello, who is this, too? I should be asking you that question, came He Wenqing's enraged voice. Was it you who told Helan Jean to break off her engagement with Lu Zifan? A pair of errors. That's what you are. If something happens to the He family, I will find someone to kill you. I will King skin you alive. He Wenqing was obviously drunk. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's grip on the steering wheel tightened slightly. Anger filled his eyes as he asked, What did you say Helan Jean was, too? Xiao Hanya did not care about people cursing him, but saying something disrespectful about Helan Jean was equivalent to asking for death. Point 2. Don't you understand human language? He Wenqing lashed out with disdain. I said you two are a pair of errors. 2. Xiao Hanya sneered and said, Very well. 2. He hung up the phone and saw Helan Jean gloating. How is it? She asked. Point 2. Not good, Xiao Hanya said. Point 2. Seeing how pissed Helan Jean was, Xiao Hanya could not help but tease her. Don't worry, Mrs. Xiao. I'll help you pick him up later. 2. Helan Jean's mood got lighter. She chatted happily with Xiao Hanya as they drove back to Jing Garden. When they got home, Helan Jean went straight to her room to take a shower. She contentedly climbed onto the bed afterward and checked her phone. Her mood changed when she saw Nguyen's message. Point 2. Sitting on the bed with her back to the door, Helan Jean was lost in her thoughts. She felt a presence approaching and tried to stand up, but she lost her balance and instead fell into Xiao Hanya's arms. Point 2. Mrs. Xiao, is there something on your mind? Xiao Hanya asked. Helanjin's phone screen was right in his face, but he respected her privacy. Point 2. Helanjin straightened herself and swung a leg at Xiao Hanya. What are you doing here in the middle of the night, too? I want to show you something, Xiao Hanya said seriously as he handed her a document. Point 2. Helanjin took a look at the document and said, How did you find out, too? Helanjin was surprised. She had Inwan investigate on this matter, but Inwan did not find out much. How was Xiao Hanya able to find this much information, too? Xiao Hanya was really something. He always bested Helanjin, be it in terms of ability or influence. Point 2. After Helanjin perused the newfound information, she turned to Xiao Hanya and said softly, I have something to ask you, too. Yes, go ahead, Xiao Hanya said, pleased that Helanjin was starting to open up to him. Point 2. Helanjin propped herself up and spoke to Xiao Hanya. Her voice was very soft, but her logic was clear. Xiao Hanya pulled up the blanket and tucked her in, saying, Since you have these doubts, why don't you do some testing, too? Helanjin fell silent. The information Xiao Hanya got was solid, detailing the difficulties that she suffered through the years. But why were a lot of people interested in her? Why did He Wenqing sell her out, too? As Helanjin leaned against the headboard, Xiao Hanya took a pillow and placed it behind her to cushion her back. She gripped the blanket and said, It's easy to have the test done, but it's hard to do that to the people who have raised me. They weren't the best parents, but I can't just throw away the 23 years they spent on me. Point 2. Ajin, Xiao Hanya said in a deep voice. There's a difference between raising you and using you. You are not stupid to not know the difference. He sat on the bed beside her. I doubt He Wenqing relied solely on himself to get to such a position in Jiang City, too. His tolerance for you is obviously based on some kind of transaction. Xiao Hanya continued. Point 2. As Helanjin thought about what Xiao Hanya said, an idea flashed through her mind. She stayed silent, keeping the idea to herself. Point 2. Got it, Helanjin said. Let me think about it, too. She lay down and realized that Xiao Hanya is still on her bed. She hit him with a pillow and said, We're done talking. You can go now, too. But instead of standing up, Xiao Hanya made himself comfortable on Helanjin's bed. Point 2. Xiao Hanya, why are you on my bed? Helanjin said as she kicked him. Point 2. Xiao Hanya caught Helanjin's leg, causing her to fall into his arms. She wiggled to free herself from his arms, but he was strong. Be good and don't move, said Xiao Hanya. Go to sleep, too. You. Helanjin could feel heat emanating from Xiao Hanya's body. He panted as he kept Helanjin from struggling. Point 2. Helanjin stopped struggling for fear that her movement would cause something else to move. She relaxed in Xiao Hanya's arms. They stayed in that position for some time, neither of them saying anything. Soon she felt Xiao Hanya's breathing normally again. Xiao Hanya, she asked, why did you choose me, too? My lips are sealed, Xiao Hanya said in a hoarse voice. I'm not telling you anything, too. Feeling Xiao Hanya relax, Helanjin elbowed herself free from his arms and pressed down on him with her body. She then sat on his waist and pressed his shoulders with her hands. She looked down at him threateningly. Are you going to tell me or not? 2. In one swift movement, Xiao Hanya turned over and pinned Helanjin to the bed with his body. He put his thin lips fell against her ear and said in a low voice, Don't move. It will be very dangerous. 2. Helanjin was trapped and could not move. She felt the man's hot breath on her neck. She inhaled sharply as if Xiao Hanya was sucking all the air around her. Point 2. Because no one else would do. I want only you. Xiao Hanya said in answer to her question. Point 2. Unable to break free from Xiao Hanya's embrace, Helanjin lay under him, as still as a mouse. Exhausted from all the work she had been doing in the past few days, she fell asleep. Point 2. While Helanjin slept, Xiao Hanya suffered all night long. His proximity to Helanjin has awakened his desire, causing his body to heat up. Point 2. The long night passed, and with it went Xiao Hanya's desire. However, just as the flames had died down, Helanjin started stirring. She turned away from Xiao Hanya, and her perky buttocks brushed against his sensitive crotch point too. Xiao Hanya hissed as he felt himself getting horny again. His eyes were filled with anguish and pain. He clenched his fists and tightened his arms around Helanjin, willing the wave to pass point two. Stop moving. I did not get enough sleep, said Xiao Hanya. But Helanjin was still in a daze and did not hear anything save for a magnetic voice that whispered wife in her ear. A soft moan escaped her lips as she changed position and faced Xiao Hanya point two. As Helanjin turned, Xiao Hanya locked his lips with hers. His kiss was hungry and sensual, waking Helanjin up from her sleep point two. Xiao Memem. Xiao. Helanjin wanted to speak, but he would not let her point two. Helanjin felt her body heating up, making her very uncomfortable. She needed release. This was the first time she felt like this in all 23 years of her life point two. Helanjin's shirt slid down her sexy shoulders. She felt Xiao Hanya's fingers through her hair as they kissed, their bodies inseparable. He pressed his body against her and suddenly stopped point two. Xiao Jin, Xiao Hanya whispered affectionately. What a pleasant sound to hear in the morning, Helanjin thought point two. Another low moan escaped Helanjin's lips. Her brain was reeling, the events of the previous night coming back to her. Xiao Hanya traced her to the studio, risked his life to get her a peach blossom, and cornered her into marrying him. He spent the night on her bed and was now kissing her point two. But he did not seem to be finished. He was on to something else, and Helanjin looked forward to it with a mixture of fear and excitement point two. Xiao Hanya started kissing Helanjin all over her body, making her lightheaded. Xiao Hanya, don't. Get up, she said, but she did not really have the strength nor the will to push him away point two. But before Xiao Hanya could give in to what he had been wanting to do since the previous night, a knock came on the door. It was Han Beicheng calling out in a grave voice. Master, master, too. Han Beicheng was getting worried. He searched the entire scenery garden, but Xiao Hanya was nowhere to be seen. As he passed by Helanjin's room, he heard a man's voice. Who would dare provoke Helanjin other than Xiao Hanya, too? But Han Beicheng could not just barge into Helanjin's room. Could he? He dawdled for a few minutes, afraid of disturbing his master point too. Damn it, Xiao Hanya muttered under his breath. Why must Han Beicheng interrupt him at such a critical moment? The atmosphere became a little strange as he propped himself up. Get lost, Xiao Hanya said, his voice cold point too. Han Beicheng was stunned. This was the first time his master told him to get lost. Not understanding what he had done wrong, Han Beicheng continued. Master, it's urgent, too. Xiao Hanya's handsome face darkened slightly, as if a storm was brewing inside of him point two. He looked at Helanjin, and he was filled with unexplainable warmth. She was beautiful and charming, like a flower that had just bloomed. He would not do anything to hurt her point two. Wait for me, Xiao Hanya said as he put the strap of her nightgown back in place. He got off the bed, put on his clothes, and tucked Helanjin under the blanket. He cupped her little face in his hands and kissed her affectionately on the forehead before turning around to leave point two. Han Beicheng stood outside Helanjin's room, scratching his head. What was happening? Xiao Hanya could appear in 2 seconds at the first sign of trouble. A minute had elapsed, but he was still inside point two. The door suddenly opened. Xiao Hanya stood squarely by the doorway, blocking Han Beicheng's line of sight. What is it, too? Master, Han Beicheng began. He lowered his voice, as if afraid that someone else would hear. Xiao Hanya listened quietly, then ordered Han Beicheng to follow him point two. Han Beicheng nodded. He wanted to sneak a glance at the bedroom, but Xiao Hanya quickly closed the door behind him point two. Seeing Xiao Hanya leave, Helanjin lay on the bed and looked at the ceiling for a long time. F***CK, she suddenly blurted out. Was I possessed? Unbelievable, too. She got off the bed to get ready for the day. She remembered how passionate she and Xiao Hanya were just now, and the thought made her want to pull a gun against his head point too. She went to the bathroom to wash her face. Once sober, she took out her phone and made a call. Help me check the whereabouts of He Wenqing and Tang Jilin over the years, too. After making the call, Helanjin looked at the mirror. Her gaze fell on her usually smooth neck. It was now peppered with hickeys. Point 2. Never in her wildest dreams did Helanjin expect to be connected with Xiao Hanya in this way. Point 2. Helanjin changed into a turtleneck sweater and a long skirt before heading downstairs, where she saw a familiar figure. Point 2. Missy, Shang Wanji, he said respectfully as he got up from the sofa. Mr. Chow has asked me to get a sample from you for identification. 2. Helanjin was surprised. She was not expecting Xiao Hanya to have this arranged. Didn't he just mention this in passing last night? 2. Will a strand of hair do? Helanjin asked. Point 2. Yes, Shang Wanji said. As Helanjin was about to pull a strand of hair from her head, a bodyguard walked in. Handing over a bottle of fresh blood to Shang Wanji, he said, Doctor, this is He Wenqing's blood. 2. Helanjin looked at the bottle of fresh blood. She gasped, Did you cut his pulse too? The bodyguard quickly turned to her and said in a low voice, Young madam, the young master would never do something that would displease the heavens. 2. Then what's this? Helanjin pointed at the bottle in Shang Wanji's hand. Point 2. He Wenqing fainted and hurt his head. We just made a quick trip to get a small sample of his blood. 2. Helanjin was about to pull a hair off her head, but she changed her mind and stopped. Blood is better, right? 2. Shang Wanji looked at Helanjin carefully. She picked up an empty specimen bottle and a fresh disposable lancet from the table. She poked her fingertip and let 2 drops of blood in the vial. Is this enough? 2. Enough. Shang Wanji knew that Helanjin was swift and decisive, but he did not expect her to be this straightforward. Point 2. Helanjin handed the vial to the doctor, wiped her fingertip with a tissue, and walked out of the house. Point 2. The bodyguard ran after Helanjin and handed her a bunch of car keys. Young madam, these are the keys to the car master had us prepare for you. Pardon if it is not to your liking. Master said that he will buy you a more suitable car later. 2. Helanjin initially wanted to tell the bodyguard off for calling her young madam, but she remembered what happened the previous night and kept quiet. Point 2. Helanjin took the car keys and walked over to the garage, where she saw the new Hummer. She was momentarily stunned by the car, but drove off as soon as she recovered. Point 2. While driving, Helanjin received a phone call. Jin, something happened, came in Wan's anxious voice. Point 2. What is it? Helanjin asked. Point 2. I don't know how Tang Jilin found out about the apartment you just bought, replied Wan. But she came here to cause trouble. She said that if you do not come, she would jump off the building and commit suicide. 2. I'll be right there. Helanjin's temples started to throb as she drove to the studio. Point 2. When she arrived at the scene, Helanjin saw men from the fire department laying an air cushion on the ground. They have sealed the area off, ready for what could happen. She also saw He Wenqing, whose head was wrapped in gauze. His injury seemed serious. Point 2. He Wenqing ran up to Helanjin and said, Jin, you're finally here. Daddy had been waiting so long, too. It took Helanjin one look at He Wenqing to know what was going on. Point 2. Last night, Xiao Hanya hung up on He Wenqing. Now, here was Tang Jilin pretending to jump off the building just so they could force an explanation out of Helanjin. Point 2. Hurry up and come with Daddy, He Wenqing said as he dragged Helanjin to the elevator. Your mother is heartbroken because you won't talk to her, and now she wants to commit suicide. You need to stop her. They arrived on the 22nd floor. Tang Jilin was standing very close to the edge of the building. Point 2. Down below, people gathered around, wishing to witness the show firsthand. Point 2. Jin, Mommy dotes on you, loves you, and has never mistreated you, Tang Jilin cried. Why are you being stubborn? Do you know that the He Corporation's investors pulled out because of your tantrums? Why are you ruining our family? 2. Maybe you think Mommy is incompetent and wasn't able to give you a better life. You're a grown-up now, and your heart has hardened. If you don't marry young Master Lu, then Mommy does not have a choice but to leave this life, Tang Jilin said. Point 2. And Wan went up the 22nd floor and walked over to Helanjin. Your mother has been saying that since she got here. She seems bent on making you marry Lu Zifen. 2. I don't know how it happened, and Wan continued. But the He Corporation seems to have been emptied out. 2. Hearing this, He Lanjin remembered the events of the previous night. After she broke off the engagement with Lu Zifan, Xiao Hanya picked her up. On their way home to Jing Garden, He Wenqing called He Lanjin's phone but got to speak with Xiao Hanya instead. Xiao Hanya was obviously angry after that phone conversation. Point 2. Was Xiao Hanya responsible for this? He Lanjin's head hurt more. She did not fully know the man. Point 2. But come to think of it, people who live in places like Jing Garden and drive luxury cars have a lot of influence. It would not be difficult for Xiao Hanya to mess with the He family, which was one of the most influential families in Jiangxing. Point 2. Not far from the building stood Lu Zifan, watching the He family. He Lanjin, I seem to have underestimated you. 2. Last night's incident had caused a big scandal, delivering a severe blow to Lu Zifan. Point 2. Lu Zifan had always seen He Lanjin as a stupid fool. He could not believe that she had freed herself from him, and that he could not control her. Point 2. The more confident and powerful He Lanjin appeared, the more uncomfortable Lu Zifan felt. The desire to conquer and control her was stronger now. Point 2. Lu Zifan went up the building and approached He Lanjin with a rose in his hand. Jin, Lu Zifan said in his most soothing voice, I'll give you everything you want. I admit that I had my shortcomings in the past. I will make up to you, I promise. But you need to stop this foolishness and listen to me, too. He Lanjin felt goosebumps all over her body. She looked at the rose in Lu Zifan's hand and chuckled softly, thinking of how funny he looked. Point 2. Were He Lanjin's eyes and ears deceiving her? Was the famous young master Lu actually depressed, too? Suddenly, He Lanjin was straightforward, mature, and capable. She seemed like a completely different woman. Point 2. Lu Zifan was now even more certain of his previous suspicions. Something really was not right with He Lanjin. Could she be the key to the secrets of the He family? 2. Lu Zifan had been working hard to obtain the secret of the He family, but until now, he was not sure what the big fuss was about. He Wenqing was as stupid as a pig. It was nearly impossible for him to keep a secret. Or did the secret have anything to do with the backer of the family? 2. But Lu Zifan was thorough. He found no flaw in the family. They were as solid and as straight as could be. Either there was no secret, or someone had erased it. If that were the case, then how did the simple He family rise to power in Jiang City? 2. Although seething in anger and frustration, Lu Zifan still maintained his handsome smile. Jin, why do you seem hesitant? We have known each other for a long time. You know that I would take care of you, right? 2. He Lanjin cocked her head to one side. I don't think so, she said with a smirk. 2. Besides, when we canceled our engagement last night, I gave you a sum of money to compensate for time lost, He Lanjin said meaningfully. Young Master Lu, you're not going to deny that you took the money, are you? Lu Zifan felt very uncomfortable. Point 2. He Lanjin was publicly ridiculing Lu Zifan. He felt defeated, as if he had been physically beaten up. Point 2. Young Master Lu, stop for a moment, said He Wenqing, who just got off the phone. He excitedly pulled He Lanjin to the side and said, I have just spoken with the president of Glory World Group. He called me to say that we have something important to talk about, too. He Lanjin looked at the clown like He Wenqing, and she burst out laughing. Smiling like a dog, He Wenqing said, Jean, this news has made you happy too, right? Too. Daddy has always told you that you're beautiful and have a good figure. All men like that in a woman. Sell yourself while you're young. He Wenqing said with a smile. His eyes widened when he realized that he misspoke. Daddy meant that you should marry a rich man while you're young. Daddy wants you to be happy, too. And Wan's ears pricked up. The blood vessels in her head throbbed, and she felt a very strong urge to stab He Wenqing with a knife. Point 2. He Wenqing's phone rang. Look, the same number that called me earlier, he said excitedly. He picked up the phone and smiled slyly. Name a price? Oh, it's like this. My daughter is very innocent and has such a good figure. Why don't you too? Seeing Wan clenching her fists, He Lanjin remained calm. Point 2. Lu Zifan stared viciously at He Wenqing. The He Corporation was part of his plan. He had to take it down. Otherwise, he would not know how to explain himself. Point 2. Young Master Lu, came a voice that belonged to a staff member from the Civil Affairs Bureau. I believe you have invited us here to register with this young lady. 2. Lu Zifan walked over to the Civil Affairs Bureau officer, who handed him a document. Lu Zifan took the document and turned to Helan Jean. Jean, this document is proof of my sincerity and pure intentions. 2. The document was a property notarization stating that 0.2% of Lu Zifan's shares had been transferred to Helan Jean. 2. Helan Jean read through the document. Her eyes emitted a chill when they fell on the amount Lu Zifan was willing to give her. 2. Young Master Lu, I suggest you take this 0.2% of your shares and use it to block the toilet. I try to be the best person I can be, and I'm not afraid of anything. The only thing I'm afraid of right now is committing bigamy. 2. Bigamy. Lu Zifan was stunned. He had a bad feeling about this. 2. I had no choice, Helan Jean said in a low voice. At 3:30 in the morning, I was kidnapped and brought to the Civil Affairs Bureau by a bandit. I'm now the wife of a bandit. 2. Lu Zifan's usually handsome face suddenly looked constipated. Jean, are you kidding me? 2. Helan Jean looked at Lu Zifan squarely in the eye and used her chin to point at the direction of the Civil Affairs Bureau officer. Why don't you check with him to make sure? 2. Lu Zifan looked at the arrogant woman in front of him with mixed feelings. He had invested so much in Helan Jean, and now someone else was claiming her. Lu Zifan felt indignant. 2. Jean, that's enough, Lu Zifan said coldly. 2. Besides the Glory World Group, the Lu Corporation lorded over the whole of Jiang City. The Lu family was even said to have the power to control the sky. Many want to curry favor with Lu Zifan, but here was Helan Jean looking at him with such disdain on her face. He could not let this pass. She had trampled on his self-esteem too much. 2. Check, Lu Zifan said to the officer, his eyes never leaving Helan Jean. 2. Checking on his laptop, the Civil Affairs staff member got the scare of his life when the face of the bureau head suddenly popped up on his screen with an angry expression. The officer was so scared that he shut his laptop close. 2. Young Master Lu, the bureau officer said coldly, it's illegal to force someone else's wife to marry you. We can sue you right now. The officer needed to clean up this mess right now, even if he did not know that Helan Jean was already married. 2. He was a civil servant, and he did not want to get fired from his job in the bureau because of Lu Zifan's mistake. 2. Helan Jean yawned lazily. If there's nothing else you need me for, I'll go ahead. Those who want to jump must jump, and those who want to commit suicide should go ahead and commit suicide. I'm sorry for disturbing everyone. Good morning, 2. And Wan's mouth twitched. She gave Helan Jean a thumbs up. 2. Lu Zifan's dark eyes darkened. He looked as if he was ready to kill. 2. Where's the betrothal gift? He Wenqing was furious. He raised Helan Jean and put up with her for many years. How could he not get anything from this marriage? 2. I was not given any money, Helan Jean said honestly. 2. Lu Zifan felt played. Helan Jean was a complete waste of his time. If he couldn't marry her, how would he be able to get the He Corporation? His plan had been ruined. It would have been so easy to steal the corporation openly after Helan Jean married him. But now he had to devise a new plan. 2. Young Master Lu, Secretary Yang said, walking hurriedly to the scene. I just checked. This staff member is not legitimately from the Civil Affairs Bureau. 2. Lu Zifan was surprised. Before he had the time to confront the bureau officer, he heard Tang Jilin's voice. 2. Jean, why do you trample on yourself like this? Tang Jilin said. Why reject young Master Lu's offer of marriage only to marry a bandit? Gangsters just throw their lives away. You have no future with a bandit, too. Indeed, that is true, Helan Jean said in a grave voice. The bandit who abducted me is fierce and violent. He will definitely kill his way out for me. And Wan, who was pretending to play with her phone, silently raised her thumb to show Helan Jean her approval. 2. Lu Zifan looked at Helan Jean piercingly, but he could not see through her. Helan Jean was obviously very stupid, but why did she seem so capable now? 2. And Wan suddenly let out a strange laugh. 2. Young Master Lu, and Wan called, glancing at Lu Zifan's behind. Why do you have a scar on your butt, too? Thinking that his pants were torn, Lu Zifan quickly looked down. He felt awkward, especially when he saw that he Winching and Tangjeline were also staring at his but point two. Look, Helanjin, he Winching said, anger rising in his voice. Even your friends have no manners. None at all, too. And Wan didn't say anything to defend herself. Instead, she handed her phone over and said, "Hon, it's a close-up, too." A video started playing on the phone. In the video was Lu Zifan, pants off halfway, doing something indescribable to another person. What was interesting was that the person looked both like a man and a woman. The face of the person was blurry, but very eye-catching point too. The rest of the video was very clear, especially Lu Zifan's but point two. Damn it. Lu Zifan's face instantly turned green point two. Helanjin thought the video looked familiar. Was this not the video she took of Lu Zifan and Zhao Yui? Too. But the video He Lanin took was not as clear as this. She took out her phone and checked the news. The video was trending, and people were talking about it nonstop. It had just been aired, but it was so explosive that it shocked the entire city. Helanjin paused the video at one point and looked at it carefully. She recognized the angle. This was definitely something she had taken point to. Xiao Hanya took Helanjin's phone, but he did not return it to her. He never even mentioned it, as if the phone did not exist. She had sneaked into his room many times to get the phone back, but she never found it point two. The video Helanjin had taken the night before her engagement with Lu Zifan had been leaked. She instantly knew that only Xiao Hanya could have done a point two. Damn it, someone's trying to frame me again. Lu Zifan's dark eyes darkened, and a ferocious expression appeared on his now distorted face point two. Helanjin pursed her lips as she stood by, waiting to see how this event would unfold. Her smile was very deep point two. Young Master Lu, is the person you are facing in this video a man or a woman? It can't possibly be both, right? And Wan asked curiously point two. Helanjin knew better. With her sharp eyes, she saw that this short video had been processed to overlap Zhao Yui and Hiroshiyu's figures. This caused confusion regarding the gender of the other person in the video, giving rise to wild speculations point two. Lu Zifan, let's end this once and for all, Helanjin said coldly. We are both adults. Stop asking my parents to intervene for you. They have never cared about me all these years, nor would they in the future. Remember this. Be yourself, and don't lose the last ounce of respect I have for you. 2. Lu Zifan was clearly gay. Why did he have to pretend to be so affectionate toward Helanjin? 2. Lu Zifan was so angry that his face turned ashen. He ordered Secretary Yang to quickly investigate and wipe out all copies of the video on the internet point two. Before walking away, Helanjin turned to Inwan and said, "Get someone to change the infrared lock later." 2. Okay. Inwan nodded, deeply amused by the turn of events point two. While infrared locks were now fairly common, the locks on Helanjin's building were quite special since Helanjin herself developed them. This meant that Helanjin's building could only be entered by someone who knew how to decode the lock. Those who dared to break in would be killed on the spot point two. Ah Jean, he Winching cried as he ran after Helanjin. When he finally caught up to her, he said, "The CEO of Glory World Corporation told me that if you present yourself to him, all our problems would be solved. Otherwise, the only thing we can do is sit and wait for the eventual demise of the He Corporation. 2. I'm your father. You will not disobey and watch me die, will you? 2. Helanjin stopped in her tracks. He Winching breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that Helanjin had changed her mind point 2. I will go to Glory World, Helanjin said in earnest. But only if you give me the rights to the He Corporation. 2. He Winching's face instantly grew cold. He pointed at Helanjin saying, I'm not dead yet, but you already want to take over the business. Helanjin, is this what you learned from the military academy? 2. Then you can pretend that I didn't say anything. Helanjin said and left with Inwan point 2. Lu Zifan watched Helanjin leave as he discussed matters with Secretary Yang point 2. Is the Glory World group sure that they won't negotiate with us? Lu Zifan asked point 2. Secretary Yang wiped the cold sweat from his forehead as he tried to find words to soften the blow. Young Master Lu, we have never seen Glory World boss. We do not know his identity, so we can't get a hold of him. Master, The Liu family has been the talk of the town lately, and with this new video, I doubt that Glory World would want to associate with us. I'm afraid that they are coming to bring us down instead. 2. Come for us? Very good. Liu Zifen's dark eyes revealed a sinister look. He tightened his grip on his phone and narrowed his eyes. Jiang City is the Liu family's territory. If the Glory World boss wants to fight me to the death, then the Liu family will accompany him to the end. 2. Young Master Liu, what do we do now, 2? Liu Zifen whispered to Secretary Yang, who then asked in disbelief, You suspect that He's working closely with Glory World? 2. Liu Zifen nodded and said, Keep the online scandal under wraps and find out who's responsible for this. 2. Liu Zifen left, feeling befuddled. The only thing he knew was that he would start with Jin. He would force the He family out through Jin, and if he needed to cripple her, then so be it. 2. Too engrossed in his thoughts, Liu Zifen did not see the motorcycle coming for him as he got off the stairs. Liu Zifen felt a chill down his spine when he realized that it was going to crash into him. 2. The motorcycle hit Liu Zifen, sending him flying to the ground. 2. Liu Zifen got up and checked himself for injuries. He was not hurt, but his pants had been sprayed with green paint. On Liu Zifen's crotch was a bright green mushroom, which made quite a comical sight. 2. Mushrooms are usually quite short. 2.